What is up, everybody? It's your boy T Macaroni, and I'm back for another video. And this time we are going to be taking a look at the sibling yellow Demon Slayer deck, the Nezuko Tanjiro. So basically, we're going to be looking to do a bunch of multi-attack swings in a turn and chip in to our opponent's life total for damage. But as always, guys, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Means a lot to over here. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So basically, like I mentioned in the intro, we are looking to do multiple attacks in a turn. So multi-swinging is basically how you're going to be pressuring your opponent's life total very consistently. Once we look into the cards themselves, you're going to see how many swings we can actually do. And for this time, we have a little bit of a combo guide that you're going to see where you can do some really nice things. Not only is it very aggressive, it also forces your opponent to make bad decisions on block and when to take damage, so that way you can pressure them in the late game. And the one beautiful thing about this board is just because things hit the sideline doesn't mean they're gone. It is very in tandem to purple, where purple can get back things from the sideline. This deck can also do so in a very neat way, and you can close out games pretty efficiently. So on our zero energy, as per usual, we are starting out with the Tanjiro Kamado, basically the get trigger of the deck. Nothing special there. So following that up, we have Nezuko. And if Tanjiro is on your field, this character gains plus 1000 BP with no trigger. And this time I opted to go with the tried and true zero cost draw trigger in Obanai. Very similar to Britannian Soldiers in Code Geass. Just a very good trigger on a 2k body, pretty solid. You can push it up early for that early game chip damage, or if you just want to lay it back in the back line for that late game push. In the 1 energy slot, we're going with the 1 cost 1 Nezuko. If on the energy line at the start of your attack phase, choose one character on your front line and you may swap it with this character. So usually what you would like to do with this is you like to swap one of your Tanjiros so you can do your little cheeky shenanigans. Didn't get a combo displaying this, but there are some scenarios where this comes up. It is also a draw trigger, which is also good because we always would like more of those, and it's on a 2k BP, so you can push it pretty early to get in that damage. In the 2 energy slot, we have the 2-1 Tanjiro, which has step. It's an active trigger and it's on a 3k body. Not only is it just a good name, it also has step as well, so you can play it out early in the front. And then step it back for when you need the energy, and you'll see how that comes up later. Then we have the 2-1 Nezuko, which says, when played, if on the front line, if Tanjiro is on your field, choose up to one character with 1500 or more BP on your opponent's front line, it loses 1000. So we've seen this effect multiple times. Just a very good solid effect. Not only does it bring a 4k down to a 2500, it makes it really awkward when it comes to blocking, and you'll see a lot of our good 2 cost energy and 3 cost energy are in that 3k range, so it can get in the damage for sure, or at the worst draw block. And it also has an active trigger, so more triggers the better. And then we have the 2-1 Zenitsu Agatsuma. So when played, you get to look at the top 4 cards. You reveal up to 1 Tanjiro, Nezuko, or Inosuke, and then add it to hand. Place the remaining to the bottom, and if you added a card to your hand this way, you place one to sideline. It has a draw trigger on a 2500 body, so like I said, in tandem with the Nezuko, Zenitsu can get in his damage. Usually in this build, I'm not running Inosuke, but if you are running Inosuke, that's another searchable target. Just a good searcher. Not only that, you can put your Nezukos to the sideline to get value. In the 3 energy slot, we have the 3-1 Tanjiro Kamado. So when played, play up to 1 Nezuko with a cost of 2 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your hand, and set it to resting on the front line. So we see this effect similarly from the Suzaku in Ashford Academy, but specifically this has to go to the front line. Then we have the 3-1 Tengen, which I think is probably the best yellow card. Feel free to discuss that with me, but it is 3-1, it has step, it is a 3k, it has draw trigger, and it has 2 energy. So it's a very powerhouse of a card. It is very I think it's a very strong card, to say the least, just because it has so many things that is going for it. It's all positive, no negative there. Solid card. Definitely think if you're playing any variation of yellow, you should definitely be running this Tengen. And then the first boss monster, quote unquote, we have to talk about is the Nezuko. So on a 3/1 body, during your turn, if Tanjiro is on your field, this character gains 500 BP, and then when attacking, you may choose one Tanjiro Kamado on your front line and one other character on your energy lane and swap them. So basically, we get to do a self boogie woogie, if you will. Very, very strong card. This is how you get your multi-attack swings going for the turn. This is very, very strong. Games are decided on if you see Nezuko or not, but we definitely need to be running the max of this for sure. Very strong card, a very solid card, and we'll see what we'll be looking to do and swap out in our 4 energy slot. So in our 4 energy, we are running obviously the main meat and boss monster, who's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting. It is both 4/1 Tanjiros. So the first one is Raid on a Tanjiro. It has impact, and then when played, you can add up to 1 Nezuko with a card with a required energy of 3 or less and 1 AP from your sideline to your hand, and then you can play 1 Nezuko with 3 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your hand, set it to your field resting. So very strong effect. It's very similar to the 3/1, but with no drawback of being able to set it only to the front line. You can place it wherever. And then we have the starter deck for 1 Tanjiro, which is when played, if Nezuko is on your field, this gains 500 PP and impact until the start of your next turn. So on your opponent's turn, it is a 4500 with impact. Just being a 4500 not only means you can draw blockers from those pesky 4K impactors that a lot of decks have. You can also get around the just specifically 4K removals and stuff like that. So you won't get got by like things like the Force Block Gurren, for example, or any of those impactors. Very solid card. Being a 4500 is also very good. It makes it very awkward for your opponent to block because it's like, I'm going to take the damage anyways, right? So it's guaranteed to get through. And then for events to round off the deck, we are just running the tried and trues. So we have Water Breathing 10 Form Constant Flux, which is the special trigger for the deck. So choose 1 character with 3000 PP or less on your opponent's front line and sideline it. If Tanjiro is on the field, which 95% of the time he will be, you get to choose 5000 or less. So it's just your good generic removal. And then we have finally the final trigger, Total Concentration Breathing. You get to choose up to 2 of your APs and set them to active. So those are the cards I decided to run, but naturally with decks we have tech options. So our tech options for this deck specifically are 2 Tanjiros, the Obanai, and the Gyu. So let's go over them. So the 4/2 Tanjiro is the color trigger of the archetype. When played, you get to choose up to 1 character with 3000 BP or less on your opponent's field and sideline it, and then it has the stun yellow trigger on a 4000 body. So in some scenarios this will come up handy. The only reason I chose not to run it is just because on a 4/2, just to get rid of a 3K just feels kind of lackluster to me. If it was a 4K removal, I would be all about it. If it was 5 energy, 2 AP, and get rid of a 4K, I would be all for it. But it just feels very bad to play into. The 3/1 Tanjiro is during your turn, once per turn, when a character on your field moves during the attack phase, you get to choose up to 1 character on your field against 1000 BP until the end of turn. I definitely think this one could be played for sure. Not only does it provide double energy, the only drawback to this card, it doesn't have a trigger, but because you're doing a bunch of tagging out shenanigans, I definitely can see in cases where that plus 1000 BP could be really handy. So definitely I think you should be testing this one in your builds. Just for these initial build, the day 1 build, I didn't want to test it just because it doesn't have a trigger. I like to test with all the good triggers first and then make my way down to see if the deck can function. So definitely this one is highly up there for consideration. Another one of those that's highly up for consideration is this 2/1 Obanai. which has a one play, draw one, trash one, and then it's also on an active trigger for a 2/1. That is actually very good. Always, if you can see more cards, it's always better. So I definitely think this Open Eye has some argument to be in some decks, even at a 2 to a 3 of, if you don't want to run certain cards. So I definitely think guys should consider this one for sure. And if you guys want probably what I want to say the ultimate defense in the Demon Slayer archetype in Gyu. So this one has Nullify Impact, and then when played, this character gains. This cannot be sidelined by abilities on your opponent's characters or event cards. So pretty much you cannot remove this card unless it's a special trigger. And that's very solid, especially on a Nullify Impact as well. Playing against like something like Lancelot, for example, they won't be able to KO it, and you get to stop that final push for damage if they only have the one impactor on board. Same thing with, for example, Purple CG. When they go into the force block, you can just force block with this and stop that damage. So it's very, very good on the defensive, and in tandem with the defensive strategy, it is also on an active trigger as well. So I definitely think this could get in even on a slot as a 2 of, which would be pretty solid. So the next thing we are going to be looking at are the combos. There are a lot of combos that you can do with this deck, and there are very interesting lines you can do. So let me showcase 3 combos for you guys that you can do with this deck that makes it really strong. So the first combo I want to showcase is what I would like to call the bread and butter combo for this deck. Basically, you are looking to get 3 swings out of this with just a couple of raids and 3 action points. So you kind of want to board like this, and then you want 1 Nezuko in the bin, and then in your hand you either you will have both a Nezuko raid and a Tanjiro raid. So to start us off, we are going to raid the Tanjiro. So on raid, we're going to push that up, and then we're going to add the Nezuko to hand, and then we are going to play the Nezuko to the energy line. That is for 1 AP. Then we're going to tap our second AP, and then go into the Nezuko, which will get plus 500, so it will be a 4K. So then we will move to attacks. We will swing with the Tanjiro first, gaining impact, guaranteed getting our 1 check, and then we will swing with the Nezuko, and then Nezuko's effect will tag out Tanjiro, and then we can either bring up the Tengen or the other Nezuko. So this is just the bread and butter combo that you can do to get 3 swings in easy peasy. But let's take that up a notch. Let's look into the second combo. So the second combo we want to look at for this deck is, we just showcased how to do a 3 attack combo, but let's take it up to a 5 attack combo. So similar board state here. The only difference from the last time is we have an extra Tanjiro. We still have the Nezuko in the bin, and then we have 2 Nezukos this time and 1 Tanjiro. So what we're going to do is start off like the similar one, is we're going to raid Tanjiro, move him up, add the Nezuko to hand, and then play that Nezuko. And then that is going to be for 1 AP. And then we're going to tap here, and then we are going to raid into the Nezuko here, pushing it up. She gets plus 500. And then to round off our last action, we are going to raid into the second Nezuko. And then she will also get plus 500. So this one is a little bit more sequence intensive, so let's go into it. So we're going to swing with impact here on the Tanjiro. Tanjiro will get in for the damage, providing no triggers. We then will swing with Nezuko. Nezuko's effect will activate, and then we will tag out with Tanjiro. So Tanjiro, we will then swing. That is now 3 attacks gone. Assuming this either gets blocked or it goes in for damage, and barring no triggers, we will then swing with the Nezuko for our 4th attack, and on swing we are going to tag it out with the Tengen. And then after that goes through, one more final swing, we will get in with the Tengen for 3k damage. Assuming that all of these swings go through, you've done 5 attacks in this turn, and for a follow-up, you can go, you will get the Tengen back to the backline, so you can then extend your plays even further. So let's say, for example, you draw for turn, and then you get, let's say you have this in hand already, and you draw another card that you can play. You can step the Tanjiro back, or the Tengen back, move up the Tanjiro, and then you can continue your plays. So then you can raid here, gain another impactor, and you can even leave this one in the back, so you could do impact, swing with Nezuko, bring up the next impact, swing again, and now you're getting the same 5 checks. Alright guys, so here is the third and final combo. This is basically the ideal turn 2 combo that you would like to see. Alright, so let's just get straight into it. You have a board state like this with 2 zeros, with a Nezuko that probably got hit off of life in the bin, and you have a few things. So let's start off our turn. Doesn't matter what we have 7 cards in hand, so we did already draw for turn. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tap 1, and we are going to play this 2-1 Tanjiro. And as you guys can probably see where this is going, we are going to use total concentration breathing to restand the AP. So now we are going to play the 3-1 Tanjiro. That allows us to play a Nezuko to the front line, so from hand. So we're going to play this one, and then we're going to minus 1500 to a 2k that they probably have on board. The next thing we're going to do is use another total concentration breathing. And yes guys, I know this is a double concentration breathing play, but sometimes luck is on your side. So now we are back to 2 AP. So what we're going to do is then we are going to raid into the Tanjiro here, which will allow us to grab back this Nezuko to hand, and then also allow us to play the Nezuko. And then with our final AP, we are then going to raid into the Nezuko, and now we have 3 swings here with an insane board. So we're going to swing with Tanjiro, get in that impact damage, barring triggers that we're still alive. We then swing with Nezuko. Nezuko will tag out this Tanjiro to get the Obanai back to the front line, and then we swing with Obanai. So that is 3 damage on turn 2, assuming if they have no board on their front line, they're just taking 3, and then you can make a 4-game push without even compromising your energy line. Yes, you have no cards in hand, but this is an insane turn 2 board state that your opponent will have to do a lot of work to get out of. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that little combo showcase there, but this is the overall deck list that I will be doing day 1. I think it's very strong. So we're on the 4 of 0 costs. We're basically going 4-4-4 for all the zeros. We're on 4 of the 1 cost 1 draw Nezuko. We're on the 4 of the 2 cost Nezuko. We're on 4 of the Tanjiro, so we're just going 4-4-4 pretty much. We're on 2 of the Zenitsu, just because with searchers you don't like to bottom deck certain key cards, so I didn't want to run too many of them, but a draw trigger is always good. We're on 2 of the Tanjiro to play a body to the front. Specifically with this Tanjiro, the fact that it only plays to the front kind of is limiting, so that's why I only decided to run 2 of it, but once you see it on that 3 energy slot, it is really nice. Then we are obviously running 4 of the Nezuko raid. That you need to see that card. That's how you get your multi-attack swings in. More Nezukos, the better. We're running 4 of the Goat Tengen, just a very solid card. We're running 4 of the raid, the booster raid Tanjiro, the one that has generic impact, and then gets to play a Nezuko. And then we're only running 2 of the starter deck Tanjiro, just because the fact that it only has impact for that 1 turn makes it a little bit lackluster, but it's still a pretty good card. And then obviously we are running 4 of our final triggers and 4 of our specials. But as always guys, if you guys like what I'm doing here, make sure you like and subscribe. It's always a pleasure bringing out these videos for you guys, so make sure give me that little love on the flip side so I know I'm doing a good job here. Let me know what deck you guys are going to be playing. Are you going to try out this yellow siblings combo deck, or are you more hyped for the purple Muzan? Make sure you guys go look at that video if you haven't already. Or are you going to be one of those Hashira players that's going to surprise a lot of people? As always, follow me on X, guys. I'm always there engaging with people and doing all types of stuff. Or if you're not an X person, make sure you guys join the community Discord. We have a ton of great players there, a few toppers at Bandai Card Fest as well. Me, who got 21st in that event, and we just have some all-around great players. So make sure you guys join that up. But as always, thank you for watching. Means a lot. So stay safe, stay hydrated. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.